I'm getting a Jimmy Neutron Brain Blast moment. I see a thumbnail forming. It's crazy to think that so many great shows are returning this season, such as Old Country Bumpkin. Honestly brings a damn tear to my eye. This show absolutely deserves it. Do me a solid, though. Make sure you leave a like on this video, show your support, subscribe, ring that bell if you haven't already, and his Patreon full live reactions and exclusives do live over there. But let's jump into it. Maybe if the video does well enough, we come back for an episode 2. You let me know if there's demand. The big thing about season 1 that I still think stands above a lot of action-dominated shows over the past year is how real the sword fighting was. I mean, I'd prefer not getting blasted by the demonic aura of death, but, you know, you do you, girl. Ooh! Woo-hoo, that tingle in my asshole here. Every time she talks about swordsmanship, she gives this, like, half death glare and half seduction glare. I can never tell what type of sword she's talking about. Why are they putting so much fucking detail into the meat animation? Hey, this is the only fantasy show that you can say they put detail into the meat animation, am I right? Is she one of those teachers who just straight up is like, hey, here's the pages to read, opens up her newspaper? We all had at least one teacher who was that shitty. Yeah, it's just a self-study day. Yo, you better put Beryl on payroll. Girl, you're gonna break a fucking neck if you keep swinging. Oh, she good. God damn. Yo, he ain't playing anymore. Oh, shit. Sideswipe. So even though he's middle-aged, she recognizes that bro can excel past where he is. By having him teach, it's going to force him to grow past his own limits. The thing about season 1 of Old Country Bumpkin is it didn't sound like a very exciting show. It's just some old guy who apparently is decent with the sword, doesn't think he's good with the sword, and everyone's like, you're amazing, and he has no confidence. Shouldn't really be that exciting, should get infuriating, but I gotta be real, man. Beryl as an MC was just such a rootable guy, and I always felt like I understood why he was so not believing in himself, just given where he basically was for most of his life, and seeing what he can do, he just really didn't believe in himself that it was that impressive, right? Season 2 is here, and boy, it is everything that season 1 was. No downgrade in animation and art quality. The fighting choreography is just as good, which literally there were people making video essays who didn't normally talk about anime, highlighting the quality of the sword choreography and how realistic it was. Like how fucking good it was. Like it's not your average anime fights. Sure, it's not Dragon Ball Soul leveling Aura Oonga Boonga, but like the actual realism to the swordplay was something that you just didn't see in anime all too often. And I'm so happy to report that Season 2 did exactly what I remember Season 1 doing. And it did set in motion something that I think will make a lot of people happy and probably let out that kind of sigh of relief. So as we know, Beryl doesn't really believe in himself, and he thinks, you know, you stop growing in terms of your skills at a certain age. And hell, this world pretty much even agrees that, yeah, come a certain point, you do stop growing. So if he fully believes he has reached wherever he can go, like, yeah, back in the day when I was younger, I would have loved to be a sword master, but this is what I can do. I'm happy with where I'm at. It is what it is. But the whole idea, especially with her, is that we're continuing to put him into situations that are forcing him to grow. He doesn't realize it, but the idea of yet again another teaching position, this time teaching up-and-coming students who are studying at an academy. It's not really dojo training, like more by the books and then some practical training. The fact that she straight up says, like, listen, if we keep putting him basically here, this is going to force him to grow, because while yes, normal people do stop growing at a certain age, people like him, they have unlimited potential. And the interesting thing is, I do remember in season 1, there used to be some comments I'd see about how people weren't just leaving him alone. They weren't, you know, they're forcing him down a path he didn't want to go down. And that's incorrect. The only reason our boy is doing what he's doing, not to say he's not enjoying it to a degree. I think he loves his fatherhood. He loves a lot of his teaching. But at the end of the day, if he could go slay a demon king and believe in himself, he would do so. So by giving him this push and watching this arc, we're now in a situation where potentially by the end of season 2, he may not fully, but I think we're going to see him believe in himself much more than we ever thought possible while watching season 1. And I think a lot of the people who are like, oh my god, he's just constantly downplaying himself, I think it's entirely possible, depending on how season 2 goes, you might have people tap out if there is a confirmation for a season 3. I just don't want to see him be so negative on himself anymore, and I get it, and maybe I'd even be in the same part. But at the end of the day, I do think they're setting up him acknowledging his own strength, at least more than we're expecting when leaving season 1. and that has me really excited. Like I said, though, the sword fighting is just fantastic. I mean, the production always looks so good with this. I mean, I remember in season 1, people were like, oh my god, it's 3D. Yeah, the 3D was fucking great. Like, the 3D character models literally have such an anime filter applied to them that half the time they look 2D, even when in motion. And while there is a lot of, like, magical base atmosphere with it, the fact that you actually, it's real sword techniques. And it's so interesting. I'll see if I can find the video. If not, I'll link it probably the next time. But if you search like Old Country Bumpkin reaction or anything, I think it's like the top video. It has like a couple million views. There's actually a guy who like analyzed and broke down just how realistic the sword choreography is. Like, it was impressive. Like, a guy who normally doesn't talk about anime, which is like, holy fuck, like this anime is like really fucking good because they actually understand. Like, they must have brought in a real fighting choreography coach or something, because there's no way you just get it right like this. But of course, because it doesn't have hyper realistic detail static frames or Unga Boonga Sakuga Fest, people undervalued season 1's animation. When from the beginning, I always thought, like, damn, like, this actually feels like real warriors. Most anime, like, fight scenes with swords, that's what it boils down to. Not proper techniques and foot placements and, you know, getting, like, the fact that he's also understands that it's okay to fucking sidekick someone and then flip them and catch the blade. It's just, there's so much to the action, and I feel like it's very much a shame how much this show gets undervalued for its Sakuga, because I do think it has the Sakuga, it just doesn't have it in the traditional way that people are used to, and it fucking breaks my heart, man. I'm excited for another teaching arc, because usually when it comes to academy stuff, it's, you know, we are the student, so having him again be old sensei, and I kind of like the way the students were, because, like, basically the reason we're here is actual sensei sucks. Her teaching boils down to read the book, and you don't know how to do this, just spin your blade 1,000 times, it'll get there. And he's just like, holy shit, this teaching is not good. And it's interesting, right? Because students who naturally recognize strength, which she has, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, maybe I'm just not understanding because I'm not talented enough. But it would get to a point where you're like, man, this girl can't teach for shit. Thankfully, Beryl came in and not only beat her ass to prove his own strength, but also is immediately getting the respect of these students, because they're like, oh shit, we're actually learning something, rather than textbook and also just swing your sword 1,000 times in over 20 minutes, you know what I mean? But this was a very, very fun return. I very much enjoyed season 1. I thought it was a great show. Certain shows like I Parry Everything, Old Country Bumpkin, you don't expect much initially going in, but then you leave very, very happy. And, you know, I'm just happy that, because you never know, even if it's only been a year, sometimes you get back into a second season and it doesn't feel the same, whether that's the visuals, whether that's the content. It just feels like a natural continuation off of episode 12, and I'm very happy to report that. But you can let me know your thoughts and feelings down below. What did you think of the return? Are you like me, fucking eager as hell to keep diving into this one? Or are you going to be sleeping on it because there's just too much anime? Let me know in the comments section. If I see enough demand, we can do this one weekly, but to be honest, I feel like this one will get heavily slept on it. It is what it is, I suppose. But either way, we will be watching it over on Patreon every single week. So like, comment, subscribe. Maybe we'll come back to YouTube. But if you're already over on my Patreon, I'll give you a video shout out too, because my patrons are what make these YouTube videos even possible. So today we got Connor Reeves, Team G Gaming 999, Jord, Jacob McDougall, JMW, Sophie Palmieri, Match, Mate, and we also have Carl Stefan Berndall. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.